in the heart of East London, where concrete replaces comfort and survival is the daily lesson. A different kind of fighter was forming long before he ever laced a glove. Anthony Yarde didn't grow up dreaming of championship belts or bright arenas. He grew up learning how to stay focused in a world that tried to distract him at every corner. His childhood wasn't polished. It was hardened, shaped by the sounds of sirens, the pressures of the streets, and the quiet resolve to rise above anything trying to drag him down. When he finally stepped into a boxing gym, he wasn't a prodigy in the traditional sense. No long amateur career, no decorated youth tournaments, just 12 amateur fights and a burning confidence that startled even men who had lived their entire lives inside gyms. Coaches quickly realized that Yarde wasn't built from textbooks or blueprints. His timing was intuitive, his reflexes seemed biological, and his physique looked like a sculpture carved out of discipline. Every punch he threw carried not just power, but intention. When he turned professional, he didn't creep into the sport, he burst into it, taking over small halls with the aura of a man destined for something far louder. And as the early knockouts piled up, fans, promoters, even rivals began whispering the same thing. This wasn't normal progress. This was acceleration. And in every arena he stepped into, a sense of anticipation followed him. They didn't just come to see if he could win. They came to see how violently the ending would arrive. Anthony Yarde wasn't just another fighter coming out of East London. He was a storm waiting for landfall. As Yarde entered the professional scene, it became immediately clear that his rise would not be measured like the typical contenders. He fought with an assured calmness, a type of fearlessness that made opponents look nervous during the ring introductions. From 2015 to 2017, he tore through the domestic circuit with a frightening mixture of patience and explosiveness. He didn't rush. He didn't waste energy. He circled, measured, and then detonated. His fight against Chris Hobbs became the first real broadcast to the nation of who Anthony Yarde truly was. 6 knockdowns in 4 rounds, each one delivered with that signature Yarde blend of speed and raw, bone-shocking power. Hobbs, a tough and tested champion, found himself drowning under the weight of Yarde's body shots. Punches that echoed through the arena like heavy doors slamming shut. The referee wasn't stopping a fight. He was saving a career. After that night, everything changed. Promoters began to speak differently. Commentators began to phrase their questions more carefully. Rival fighters started mentioning Yarde with the kind of hesitant respect that only genuine danger can earn. And as each knockout win stacked on top of the next, Yarde's aura grew thicker. Barani fell in a single round. Then another opponent crumpled from a left uppercut that looked like it came from the ground itself. The pattern was always the same. A few seconds of calm, a few seconds of studying, and then a sudden flash of violence. He wasn't just stopping his opponents, he was dismantling them. By 2018, fans stopped asking whether he was special. The real question became how high he could rise and how quickly he could reach the world's elite. The train was moving fast, and it wasn't slowing for anyone. When Anthony Yarde traveled to Russia to face the reigning world champion, Sergey "the Crusher" Kovalev, many believed he was being fed to the jaws of a veteran predator. Kovalev was a destroyer, icy, experienced, ruthless. He had broken champions, erased contenders, and carved his name into the light heavyweight division with a jab that felt like a piston and a right hand that ended dreams. But Yarde didn't arrive in Russia as a tourist. He arrived as a hunter. From the opening bell, he showed he wasn't frozen by the moment. He stood tall, slipped jabs, countered boldly. The arena buzzed with unease. This young challenger wasn't intimidated. By the 7th round, Yarde's body shots began to echo through the stadium, smashing into Kovalev's ribs and visibly draining the champion's legs. And then came the 8th, one of the most dramatic rounds of Yarde's career. A huge right hand staggered Kovalev, Blood rushed to the champion's face. He backed into the ropes, suddenly human, suddenly aging, suddenly vulnerable. For a few electric seconds, the world held its breath. The upset was right there, an arm's stretch away, but Yarde spent everything he had in that storm, emptying his tank in search of glory. The moments slipped. Kovalev survived, and by round 11, the weariness had caught up to Yarde. One stiff jab, perfectly timed, brought the night to an end. Kovalev retained his belt, but when he walked over to Yarde after the stoppage, he didn't speak like a king to a challenger. He spoke like a warrior to another warrior. "You will be champion," he told him, and in that brief exchange, the world saw something bigger than a loss. They saw the beginning of a fighter's transformation. A year later, in a quiet Westminster hall during the pandemic era, Yarde met Lyndon Arthur, a man built from patience, timing, and an ice-cold jab. Fate twisted the narrative before the opening bell. Arthur injured his right hand during camp. He had only one real weapon left, but he used that jab like a surgeon, turning every round into a puzzle. Yarde marched forward with pressure and fire, but Arthur kept slipping away by millimeters, tapping out points with clinical precision. It was an unnerving fight, slow, tense, psychological. And after 12 close rounds, Arthur's hand was raised. It wasn't violence that beat Yarde that night. It was rhythm. It was patience. It was a man who turned one punch into an entire strategy. The loss pushed Yarde inward. He vanished from the public eye, spending months rebuilding. Not his muscles, not his power, but the nuances of his craft. When the rematch came, he'd felt like destiny demanding a correction. Same men, same venue, same stakes, but the new Yarde was unrecognizable. Every movement sharper, every decision smarter. He didn't fall into Arthur's rhythm this time. He shattered it. From the opening bell, he pressed with controlled aggression, cutting off Arthur's escape routes. Each shot thudded with frightening force. By the fourth round, Arthur's composure cracked. A violent barrage sent him collapsing under the weight of punches he couldn't read, couldn't time, couldn't escape. The stoppage wasn't just a win, it was a reclamation of identity. Yarde proved he wasn't just power, he wasn't just explosiveness, he was adaptable, he was evolving, and the division felt that. Then came the ultimate test, Artur Beterbiev. 18 fights, 18 knockouts, a man whose punches looked less like strikes and more like mechanical destruction. Many fighters approach Beterbiev with caution, circling, surviving, delaying the inevitable. But Anthony Yarde did what only the brave or the crazy do. He fought him. He stood directly in front of the most feared man in the division and traded precision for pressure, speed for timing, heart for heart. And shockingly, it worked. Round after round, Yarde boxed beautifully. Slick head movement, explosive counters, sudden bursts of aggression that forced even Beterbiev to reset. Midway through the fight, the unthinkable was happening. Yarde was ahead on the scorecards. The British crowd roared as the Russian machine momentarily stuttered under the heat of Yarde's combinations. It was skill, it was bravery, it was artistry under fire. But Beterbiev is not built like other men. Once he found his timing, the fight changed temperature. In the 8th round, the pressure became crushing. Beterbiev closed distance with surgical steps, forcing Yarde into chaos. A short right hand landed, followed by a barrage of heavy shots. Yarde stayed on his feet longer than logic would allow, fighting back, refusing to fold. But when the corner finally threw in the towel, it wasn't surrender. It was protection. Even Beterbiev himself embraced Yarde afterward, praising his heart, his skill, his future, and he was right. Because after wars like Kovalev, Arthur, and Beterbiev, Yarde didn't break. He sharpened, he matured, he transformed into a complete fighter, still powerful, still dangerous, but wiser, calmer, steadier. And today, as the light heavyweight division shifts and champions age, one truth hangs over the sport. The beast from the East is still hunting. And somewhere out there, a world title is waiting for his return.